Welcome to the Ag Inspo podcast, where we delve into the dynamic world of agriculture, uncovering the stories that inspire, empower, and drive change. Join hosts Rena Striegel and Rabou as they explore the journeys of farmers, entrepreneurs, and leaders who are making a difference as they navigate the critical work of transitioning their operation to the next generation. From navigating family dynamics to developing the next generation of ag leaders, we'll bring you the insights and inspiration you need to thrive in today's ever-evolving agricultural landscape. So whether you're a seasoned industry veteran or just starting out, get ready to be inspired, informed, and empowered as we learn from best practices and a few colossal failures on the Ag Inspo podcast.
Welcome to Ag Inspo, our first episode of 2025. And Rena, it's been, we've had a long break here, and we got through Christmas, we got through the first of the year. And so I have to ask you before we get going, because we've got a super special guest with us today that I'm very excited to introduce. But I want to hear a little bit about what you've been up to the last couple of weeks.
Last couple of weeks, honestly, did a little bit of family stuff, did a little bit of work, actually went and saw a few farms over kind of the Christmas holiday. So that was really fun, and ate way too much food. That's it. That's all I did.
Well, that sounds, I would say, fabulous, right?
It was good.
We did a dirt conference in December. Which is always interesting because it seems to always snow in Des Moines in December, which is, of course, where we had the dirt conference.
And it did.
And so you know, we have these kids that we're chasing around. So our oldest son, Carson, goes to the University of Wyoming. He's in the marching band and is a drummer for them. And they played at the Rose Bowl parade. So we got to go to the Rose Bowl parade, which was completely awesome. I loved it. I didn't really quite understand what that was all about, but it was completely amazing. And of course,
there were some good pictures that came.
Yeah, it was really something else. I mean, I would really encourage the folks that if you want a fun vacation to go on, just to see something that's unique and different, it's really quite a remarkable thing. And the thing that blew me away is that you have to be there and be parked before 6 a.m. And the parade starts at 8. And so you're getting there in the dark, which is really strange when you're going to a parade. But they allow people to start camping out at like 11:30 at night the night before. Wow. And people have, you know, I mean, they're sleeping along the streets, you know, to save their places and whatnot. But it was really a tremendous experience. And certainly the first time that the University of Wyoming's Western Thunder Marching Band ever had a chance to march in the Rose Bowl parade. So that was a very big deal for about 230 of these band members to be able to go do that. So they're doing a really great job, and we are super proud of them because, as you know, the University of Wyoming is Wyoming's only 4-year post-secondary education institution. So we're kind of unique in that sense.
Yes.
So speaking of unique, we have a super special cowboy that is with us today. He is from my home community here in southeastern Wyoming. And Tim Malm has, you know, Tim and I didn't really know each other growing up. We're far enough away in age that, you know, by the time he reached school age, then I was kind of out. But, you know, he was, I do remember when I was first married, reading about all of his accomplishments in school and in basketball and in rodeo. And he is a national champion calf roper, just a phenomenal young man that has a heart for agriculture. He has a heart for the agriculture and rural lifestyle. He has a heart for rodeo. And you know, I think very top of Tim's list is he has a heart for the Lord. And it really is, his story is really, truly remarkable. And Tim joins us today from his home here near Albin, Wyoming. And Tim, welcome to the podcast. It's great to see you. I see that you've got you're wearing your logo on your shirt and you got your cowboy hat on today, so you're looking good.
Thank you, Ron. It is such an honor to be on here today. I praise God for this opportunity to be speaking with y'all.
Absolutely. Well, it's our privilege to have you, Tim. And you know, I know a little bit about your background, obviously, because our families are, you can't come from a small community like we do and not know each other and not know the families. And and your family has been certainly a staple of this community for generations. Your grandfather was certainly a staple in the community and raised uh, bulls. And I know that our family operation bought bulls from your family over the years, and that your dad and your uncle and your grandpa were all kind of involved in the ranching operation. And if you could, Tim, I would like you to just kind of walk us through a little bit about growing up on the ranch and what you remembered for that, all the way up through high school to your college career with collegiate rodeo. And then let's talk about the life-changing moment that happened in your life from that point forward. But let's start at the beginning. So kind of walk us through a little bit about what it was like growing up on a ranch and some of the things that you remember from that time here in southeastern Wyoming.
Certainly, Ron. I was born of sixth generation on my homestead where my great-great-grandfather homesteaded. We came from Sweden, and I loved growing up on the farm. I was in a windrower at age 4. I was the only 5-year-old to be driving a tractor.
There you go.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I hated going to school the first year.
You're like my son Spencer. He hates going to school also.
Yes.
He'd rather
So
be working
great
on the
great
farm.
grandfather, a great great grandfather, that would make you what? Great great great. So great great grandpa, your dad, and then you. So are you fifth generation?
Sixth.
Sixth generation.
Sixth generation. Okay.
Yep.
No, sorry. And I'm just great.
And you know, there's a right, I guess it would be right west of your place. There is, and I know that your dad and I have talked about this. There's a kind of like a stone wellhead, right? That didn't one of your grandfathers or something hand dig a well?
And the place down in the yard, 260
And how deep is that?
feet.
And he
What?
dug it by hand, correct?
Just south of us, there was a well that caved in other people. So there's 2 people that were not found.
Oh,
They're at the bottom of the well.
Can you imagine, Rena, digging 160 feet by hand to try to find water so that your family could survive out on the Great Plains of Wyoming?
no, I
It's,
cannot because when we had to hand dig posts to put in fence, I was like, I'm out after 2 posts. Like, let's get something with a motor on it.
right. And after about what were those 2.5 foot holes?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Itty bitty.
exactly.
But
Right.
yeah,
Right.
that's why I'm like kind of going, are you kidding me? I wonder how long that would take to dig a hole that deep. That is crazy.
Yeah. And this cistern beside us, we had the first running water in Lamb County because of gravity fed was there to my grandparents' house down, great grandparents' house down in the yard.
Well, that's what people did when they came out here. People moved west, obviously, because of the Homestead Act, and they wanted to come west for opportunity. And many people don't know this, but before Wyoming was a state, obviously we were recruiting people here to try to get them to the state so that we could even become a state, because we didn't have enough people that were here. And so the government was giving people 160 acres. And what they had to do through the Homestead Act was they had to live on and produce off of those acres for 5 years. And then they would get a deed from the federal government and get that land, but they had to live there. And so when Tim's, family came over from Sweden and ended up here, that's what they did. When my family came from Illinois, that's what they came here and did, and really lived on the prairie out here. And I don't think anyone really realized how difficult it was to be able to make a living on property out here. Rena, you and I have talked about in the Midwest, people talk about how many cows they can run per acre. And out west here, we talk about how many acres it takes to run a cow.
Yep.
Right? Which Tim and I know that here it takes roughly 25 to 30 acres here to run one cow-calf pair. So in retrospect, when you look at 160 acres, how many cows can you realistically run on that? And, we're not even talking about dryland crop production at this point, but trying to make a living off of that limited amount of resource was, I think people who didn't understand what it was like here, that moved here from places that were more productive like the Midwest, really didn't understand what they were going to deal with here. And one of the funny things that I have found through studying how Wyoming kind of gained its population is we had this, it was, in essence, it was a Department of Tourism, except that's not what it was called at the time. But they sent out letters that said that Wyoming's soils were more productive than those of the Midwestern states. And so people came out here with these high expectations, and then they got out here, and then water was, at a minimum, probably 160 feet deep. I know the well at my farm here is over 250 feet deep. They're what, Tim?
Our well is over 400 down on the state line.
It's over 400. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that just really changed everything, right? So what people did is they took large blocks of land out here and tried to run cattle on those lands. And Tim, that's really how you and I grew up, right? I mean, we grew up on cattle operations and we grew up on horseback.
I just have one question from my forefathers. Why did you stop here? Why not call it the first reservoir?
I agree with you. Why not either stay where you were at or go a little bit further west where it was going to be warmer, or the land was going to be more productive, or, it actually rained and maybe the wind didn't blow incessantly, right? Although I would say that we have snow now, which is really the first snow that we've gotten, and it's not brown yet. And I think Rena doesn't really know what brown snow is, but tell Rena what brown snow is.
Do you and it rains in your country? Where does the rain come from? It comes from the sky, right? And it falls down Hey, our rain comes sideways.
Our rain and our snow come sideways, doesn't
Yep.
it? So usually when it snows, here comes all the dirt to go along with it, and then it all turns brown.
Yeah.
So I saw someone with a meme lately that was an ice cream cone that said a Great Plains ice cream cone, and it was basically a snow cone, and it was, instead of white snow, it was nice, pretty dirt brown snow, and so looked pretty appetizing. So Tim, you grew up on horseback, correct? Other
Yeah.
than running the swather and doing things like that.
Yes, sir.
And at what age did you become proficient in riding a horse?
I didn't start roping until I was 11 in 2001. And
When you were 11?
Yes, ma'am.
And that's when you started calf roping?
Yes, sir.
And then you did that throughout high school, correct?
Yes, in college.
Okay. And then tell us about your college experience calf roping.
Well, I could have went better, but it was still awesome.
Yeah.
I did Northeastern Junior College at Sterling, Colorado on a rodeo scholarship.
And you
Rodeo.
did you tell us about your high school career in with roping?
My high school career was awesome, to say the least. For me. I enjoyed it greatly, and I was the 2009 National High School Reserve Champion calf roper.
National
That's
champion,
awesome.
reserve champion, calf roper, which huge deal, right? I mean, there's thousands of kids that do this, and so to be at that level is pretty phenomenal. And so you were at your ranch during your college career, right? Kind of when you were doing collegiate rodeo, or was it after that when you were at the ranch and you were roping at home?
It was after my college year.
Okay.
My accident occurred on June 6th, 2010, at my home arena right close to my house. And without a red mark, broken bone, or bruise on me, I suffered a TBI, traumatic brain injury. My doctor compared it to having a grenade going off between my ears.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that happened when your horse went over on you, correct?
Well, it was just mostly the sudden jerk of my horse falling, and it took my brain from the front to the back corner of my head. So are you looking at the first confirmed case of shaking big baby syndrome? Yeah.
Tim is very good with jokes, Rena,
Yeah.
and he just has like the best sense of humor in the world. And because Tim, your did your mom administer CPR to you while the ambulance and the helicopter were getting there?
Yes, sir. There was no helicopter that day.
Okay.
It was already out as another case. So I had to go in the ambulance. But yes, she prefers CPR and got me breathing again before the ambulance got there.
Wow.
And you have to understand that we live 50 miles from a hospital.
Yes.
And so, getting the local ambulance here is one thing, but getting that ambulance to a hospital is a completely different thing. And your mother stayed with you the entire time in the ambulance, is that right?
Mom and dad actually rode to the hospital with me,
Okay.
and mom was brought in by some friends.
And what did your parents discover? What did the doctors tell your parents when they took you into the hospital?
The doctors prepared my parents for me not to make it to the night. They just said he probably would go to sleep and never wake up. But God has another plan. That's why I don't trust doctors. I trust the one doctor, the Heavenly Father.
And he has another plan for you because you did wake up and you eventually ended up at Craig Rehabilitation Center in Colorado. Is that right?
Yes, sir. It's been 4 months in Calgary Hospital.
And how long were you there?
4 months.
4 months.
4 months.
Yes.
And kind of walk us through a little bit about that experience that you had at Craig Rehabilitation Center up to the time where they sent you home.
I don't remember much about it, but just some highlights. I remember a couple of weeks after they took me there that a buddy of mine brought the horse down. He was going to a rubbing, but I'm just doing everything the doctor said I wouldn't be able to. They told me I would never come home. Well, I did that. They told me I would never eat regular food. Well, I did that maybe a little too much. They told me I would never walk again, and I'm gonna prove them wrong.
That's amazing.
You want to talk about a story of resiliency that you don't tell Tim what he can and can't do because his God is bigger than that, and his attitude and his fortitude is bigger than that.
Yeah.
And I've watched Tim. Tim, I think we kind of really connected about that time when you got home, and we've just stayed in touch, and it's been awesome to be able to build a friendship with you and be able to watch your growth and your interest in making it, helping to make a difference in the world and making a difference in the lives of other people. And so
It's gonna make me blush.
well, we're pretty proud of you. I'm pretty proud of you.
Thank
And
you.
so Tim came home from the Craig Rehabilitation Center, and his parents are nothing
Amazing.
short of completely amazing.
Amen.
And his parents have taken care of him every step of the way, and his father and his mother and all three of his sisters are very, very committed to family. They're very committed to making sure that love stays in the household and that they're taking care of what they need to take care of. And it proves in their actions. And so, Tim, as you have as you have grown and as you have improved, because it seems like every time we talk, there's just little improvements, that you make, and maybe you don't see them on a daily basis, but gollies, I mean, it was during the summer where you're out pedaling a bicycle uh, down the highway.
Guilty.
Guilty.
Yeah. and standing up on your own, roping like a, I don't know what you call the
Dummy.
the roping dummies. That's the word I was looking for. That you're standing up and you're roping steer heads. And it's really amazing that you're swinging a rope and doing that on your own, and that you are every day, Tim is working toward becoming better and doing more. And so, Tim, why don't you just kind of walk our audience through a little bit about just some of the different things that you have done to get yourself better over the course of the last, 10, 12, 14 years.
When you say walk through, that's not funny because I can't walk.
See, I told you Tim has good jokes. So, Rena, you got to be careful about that because he's going to pick up on these things, right? He says that I shouldn't say walk me through that because it's not funny because he can't walk. So, well, Tim, why don't you take us through that? How's that sound?
That's a much better run.
All right, thank you.
While we do exercises at home and we practice walking and I practice on balance. And for a while, I was doing 500 sit-ups a day. Now I do a few less, but I still continue to ride the comfort bike. I was riding it 100 miles a week.
Wow.
I ride it a little ways, but I do it and then I do a sauna. We bought a little portable sauna that I get in every day, 5 days a week. And that kind of keeps me in shape. Where I don't have to worry about the extra pounds.
That is amazing.
Can you imagine Rena doing 400 sit-ups?
No.
If I did that, I wouldn't be able to walk the next day at all. I don't even think I'd be able to even stand up. My stomach would hurt so bad, and my back.
It's easy, right? You just do one and you do 399 tomorrow.
That takes a lot of dedication, though, to get up every day, do something that's really hard, and do it every day after day after day. That takes a lot of like mental toughness to be able to do that.
Well, I figure I got to work twice as hard as everyone else to get half as far.
It's really amazing, though. Really amazing.
And so, Tim, you have not only have you disciplined yourself to get yourself better physically to get the maximum out of your capability right now based on what's happened, but you have also decided that you wanted to speak at churches.
Yes.
You wanted to speak to people about your message. So tell us about what you speak about when you go speak to different groups.
Well, most of it's all been about God and the amazing things he's done with me and through me.
Hmm.
And
And
I
so,
love to speak from what I learned.
yeah, so you base the name of your company, and if you could tell everyone what your company is and why you call it that.
Certainly, it's a coffee and accessories company that I call Stronger for 13. And the first 13 is after my favorite Bible verse, Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And that I just put that together with the stronger because I want just to get stronger every day and started my company. And that's what I'm doing is sharing inspiration to all the people that buy a coffee or something. I want my tagline is to sharing God's great message of love with everyone I can, one cup of coffee at a time.
Love it.
And it doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down. The only thing is that you get up stronger than before.
Isn't that an awesome name, Rena?
It
Stronger
is.
for
I love
13.
it. I
Yeah,
love it. I love
it's
it.
really amazing. And I drink Tim's coffee nearly every morning. It can be found on his website, and he's got some really awesome shirts and sweatshirts and hats and all that kinds of stuff too. But really, just sharing that message of hope, which I just personally find to be completely inspiring. Like, Tim, you really epitomize what it means to not be a victim of your circumstances. That you have chosen, despite what your goals were for your life and what you wanted to accomplish and what you thought you were going to do and the life that you thought you were going to lead. That was, what happened to you was not in those cards, but you've chosen to take those circumstances and make good out of it, and to show that every person has value and that God really does have a purpose for all of us, despite what happens to us, and despite what condition we find ourselves in, either mentally or physically, that it's really ultimately up to us to decide what we do with this life that we're given.
Thank you, Ron. And so the Bible says, shall we not take the bad with the good? That's according to Tim. That's my translation. But shall we not accept the bad from God as long as we accept the good?
So, Tim, I want to ask you just about your faith. Like leading into your accident, did you always have a really strong faith relationship with God, or did you really get closer to God coming through this set of circumstances?
I have become so much closer. I was a Christian before my accident, but nothing like now. I am so much closer to God now. I started one prayer shortly after I was hurt that I'm still praying. I never ended. I'm always talking with God.
Amazing. So you have a coffee company, an accessories company, you've got a ministry, and I think you have at least one book.
Who?
2 books. Okay. So tell me about the books.
The book's the first one,
This is the first one right here.
and his time is a daily journaling from my mom that's compiled by my aunt Kendra Marlett, and it discusses my accident and the days after that. And then my second book, The Battlefield, is written solely by me,
Wow.
and it's a 26-day devotional book called The Book of Joshua, where we learn more about God and about our own strength. And there is a little part at the end of every day where you can write your thoughts and what God is like on your heart.
That's awesome. You know, Ron has a couple of books. I participated in a book. Ron and I both write articles, and I cannot imagine sitting down and putting 2 full books together, plus doing all the workouts, plus doing the company, plus coming up with designs. That is a lot. It is hard to write an article, let alone put 2 books together. So,
Thank
congratulations on both of those.
thank you much, ma'am.
So are these books available on Amazon, on your website? How do people get your books?
They're on my website.
Website. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well,
And
we will make
the
sure that
website is stronger413.com, correct?
Yes, sir.
okay, and we will make sure that that is in the show notes for anybody that wants to click on the link and go check out all the things that Tim has got going on he's actually got a really, really nice website. So everyone needs to go and visit and at least if nothing else, get some coffee.
And I love the name of the coffee that I buy. It's called the Wyoming.
Bestseller.
That's one of the best sellers. And so his books are on there. The hats, the accessories, all of that is on the website. It's really a remarkable website. And I think, you had a very big announcement here about a year ago or so that Tim's Coffee became the official coffee of Cheyenne Frontier Days,
Yes,
which is the
sir.
world's largest outdoor rodeo. So tell us a little bit about how that happened.
I know the CEO of Cheyenne Frontier Days really well, and Tommy Hardy did that for me. It's such a gracious blessing for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ron and I talk about the power of relationships a lot on this podcast in terms of, having and pouring into people and the power that that creates. And I think that that's exactly what you're saying is that you've got strong relationships that have turned into some amazing business opportunities for you, which is so great.
Yes.
Tim, what kind of advice do you have for people who are, maybe they haven't had a catastrophic accident like what you've had, but maybe they're just struggling with something in their life, whether it's personally or professionally. What kind of advice do you have for folks to kind of, develop a mindset to help them make it through those difficult times?
It's the same advice I gave my brother-in-law who was breaking a horse. It's all about forward movement. It's putting your head down every day and take a step forward and keep moving forward.
I love it. And that's so true.
Mhm.
That is so true. Got to
Yeah.
take steps.
Yeah, you have to take steps, and I think probably, I mean, did you have you struggled? Uh, I mean, you obviously were very passionate about rodeo. You still are. Did you struggle about fear about getting back, in the saddle, so to speak, figuratively,
Yeah.
uh, and the fear of facing what really was an unknown future for you, and I'm sure that forward movement obviously had something to do with that, but
Yes.
how did you personally deal with that fear that you faced along this journey?
I have no fear except one, and that one fear is not trying. Not trying is my biggest fear. I don't fear failing. I fear not trying.
And great words of wisdom.
Yeah,
Great words of
definitely.
wisdom. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, we should
Definitely.
we should all fear not trying.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Tim, your message of hope and your story and just you as a human being are really truly an inspiration to, certainly to me, and I know that you've been an inspiration to thousands and thousands of people across the country and across the world. And I'm going to encourage everyone to go to Tim's website, stronger413.com, and to follow Tim on Facebook. He has some really, really uplifting messages. He's got this really cool picture that he just posted with his, he's standing up and in one of his shirts with a cool pair of sunglasses and his cowboy hat on. And he's looking like a regular old ladies man there. And he sent that to me the other day. I really enjoyed seeing that. He just always makes me smile, always makes me happy, and always is a reminder that no matter what happens to us, we should never feel sorry for ourselves. We should be grateful for the blessings that we do have. So,
Yes.
Tim, thanks for being that inspiring message for all of us.
Thank you so much for this incredible opportunity to share my faith.
Well,
So,
I think that Rena is now. So I just need to prepare everyone for this, so everyone really truly understands this. So Rena told you beforehand that we're going to do like basically a quiz bowl. It's basically how do we trick Ron to be the loser in the trivia game. And so she described to you before we got on the air here that these questions are set up so that Ron can fail. But she didn't say it that way. She said these questions are set up so that you can beat Ron, which means that they're set up for Ron to fail. So
I don't
if
think
you're
there's
about
any
rodeo,
record.
Lena, I think I'm out.
There's no record of that. None. You have
Ron,
no proof. You have no proof at
Tim, come
all
on, you
that
got
was
to
said.
back me up here.
No.
Ron, we're making excuses.
Yes, Ron. Stop
It's
making
Oh,
excuses.
great.
the
All right. Well, I still stand my ground, but I hear you all. So, Rena, let us have it.
Okay, so two questions today, and these are about the rodeo because I was in Las Vegas in December for the Milk Business Conference, and it just so happened that that was when the National Finals Rodeo was happening.
Yes.
So, in honor of Tim, we are doing rodeo questions today.
Yes.
So, first question. How many contestants compete at the National Finals Rodeo?
Top 15 in each event.
That's correct. Which is a total of how many contestants?
See,
You're going to just get smoked on this, Ron, I can tell.
I have no response.
under 20.
Bang on. That is the first totally correct question without prompting from me we have ever had on this podcast.
Hey, Ron,
And I admit I have zero response on that.
I
So,
think
bonus question.
Tim, you get all the kudos.
that was amazing. That is the first time we've ever had a contestant that got it 100% right on the money with no help from me.
I got
Amazing.
the bonus question for you, Ron.
Uh-oh.
What year did the NFL move to Vegas?
I think I have nothing on that either. I wouldn't even, I mean, if I'm just going to guess, it's just going to be a guess. So I have no answer.
1985.
1985. Okay. And where was it before then?
Oklahoma City.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
All right.
Amazing. Okay, so this one I just thought was kind of fun. So I looked up how many colleges have sanctioned rodeo organizations in the United States.
I'm assuming that you mean 2-year or 4-year colleges, correct?
Yep, colleges or universities.
Okay.
Probably close to 1,150.
I was going to say 1,500, but I'm just guessing.
Well, these are sanctioned. So I just looked at the sanctioned ones, not just the ones that have it. So sanctioned rodeo organizations are 135.
Yeah.
I thought that was really interesting.
I was closest.
You were closest, so you win. Well, you would have won. You won. The second question was just for fun. When you rang the bell on the first one, game over. That was
You
it.
nailed
That
it,
was
dude.
all there was.
You nailed it. Yep. You get all the kudos for that. And like Rena said, I think that you deserve like a big trophy or something for being the first guest that has ever been completely dead on. Like you didn't answer a multiple choice question.
I think honestly that we ought to send Tim a Monster Slayer t-shirt, not only for being just amazing and a Monster Slayer, but he also first guest in history to ring the bell 100% on his own. So
Monster
Tim,
Slayer it is.
we're gonna send you a t-shirt. So
Awesome.
yeah, we'll get your address and get that sent to you. But this has been amazing. And so now I know when I come out to see Ron, we have to come and have a cup of coffee with you.
Definitely.
So
Let's show you my coffee.
yes.
The Wyoming there it is. And so you can get that in K-cups too, because I'm a K-cup person.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, we are not messing around. You can get it the old-fashioned way, or you can get it the fast way.
Well, Tim, thank you so much for being willing to share your story and for the amazing things that you're doing. And keep making a difference, brother. You're doing an amazing job.
It has been my honor. Thank you so much.
All right,
Have a great
everybody.
one, pal.
Well, yeah, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you in 2 weeks for our next episode. So with that, thank you, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
You've been listening to the Ag Inspo podcast with Ron Rabou and Rena Striegel. Find Ag Inspo on Farm Journal's YouTube channel and anywhere you find your favorite podcasts. For more information about today's guest or the resources referenced today, please see the show notes listed below. Join us next time when we will meet another inspirational leader who has taken those small steps to bring about really big change.